Hello, my name is Aram da Silva with the Icla da Silva Foundation, and we are here today with another live with some special guests. We have been talking to patients, to marrow donors, volunteers to share a little bit more about our mission. And we have two special guests today, Melissa and Mike, who has been involved with the foundation for a number of years now, and I'll be having a conversation with them about Melissa's daddy's story and also how they have been involved with the foundation. So let me welcome here Melissa and Mike. Hi, Melissa and Mike.
Hello.
How are you?
Hi, how
Hi.
are you?
Good to see you guys again. And
Good to see you too.
yeah, and agreeing to participate with us on this live event. So I wanted to tell everyone about Melissa, your daddy's story, and as well as you're involved with the foundation the previous year. So um, let's get started and let's talk a little bit about your dad and what he needed. And why don't you go ahead and tell me a little bit more about your dad?
Would you want me to tell you how we got involved first or a little bit about my dad?
Yeah, tell about your dad. I know that we have some great pictures here to share with everyone. So why don't you tell the story since you were a little girl and a little bit about him until his diagnosis?
I mean, he was a funny guy. He was the type of guy where we would wait every day. So my dad would get home from work at between 5 and 6 o'clock every day, and my brother and I would wait every single evening, and we would go outside and we would see him turn the corner, and we would run down the block every day, and we would throw ourselves into my father's arms. It didn't matter if he had a briefcase or not. We would just throw ourselves into his arms, and he would pick both of us up at the same time every single day. And then he would carry us. Maybe one of us would be dragging along on his leg, but he would carry us every day back to our house. And then he was also the best reader. So he wouldn't just read a story, he would elaborate. And we thought it was so funny that he would scare us every time when he was reading a story. And it wasn't a good story unless he was scaring us every single night. And that picture right there, that picture was at Girl Scout that we went to. My father was also the scoutmaster of the Boy Scout troop, but he also volunteered with the Girl Scouts. And that first picture was we went on a Girl Scout. I think it might have been a weekend trip, but it was camping. And I always used to run. That was my spot on my dad's shoulders. So he used to carry me there all the time. And it was the best seat in the house because my dad was 6'4". So I would always have the high spot and you could see every place. And then I would just rest on his head. And then this picture, my dad was also, he was also NYPD. He worked for the NYPD. He retired as a detective, but he started as a mounted police officer. And this was in Central Park. In addition to people loving him, animals also loved him. As you can see, his horse loved him. Dogs loved him. So everyone loved my dad. His Boy Scouts loved him. Everyone that met my dad, animals, children, adults, he was just an all-around great guy. Everyone loved my dad. This picture is, so my dad grew up even though he was born in Nova Scotia, Canada, he grew up in Astoria. And one day we went out to dinner with my parents, and my dad he asked us if we wanted to go on a tour of the old neighborhood. So we said yes. And then we said, hey, why don't we try and find your old apartment? So not only did we find his old apartment, but we said, let's just open the door and see if anyone's home. So we just found the apartment building, opened the door, and just started wandering the halls, and we found his old apartment. So we used to go on adventures too. Any adventure he was up for.
No, seems like he was a very fun guy with a lot of energy, and you guys had a great time. As we go through the pictures here, I believe this is your mom.
That is my mom. So this is they used to come visit us. Mike and I used to live in San Diego. So my mom usually came out to visit us. My dad wasn't a big fan of flying, but every now and then we would convince him to come visit us. So we took them. We actually went on we did a driving tour up the California coast. So we started at Disneyland one year. So this was This was one of the pictures. And this, we again, more of our shenanigans. We asked, my dad used to take the Boy Scouts whitewater rafting. So this time we had gotten we used to get tickets to go on all little adventures. So we took him whitewater rafting with us. And since he used to go all the time, when we went, the people on this tour caught wind that he had gone, and so they elected him the, what do they call it, the leader of the raft, where he had to control the whole raft. So he was in charge of leading the group down the river. Whether he wanted to or not, he was in charge of leading the group down the river.
One of the funny things about that particular picture was that there was the kayaks too, and he had a special phone, and it was this old flip phone, but he was adamant that this flip phone was waterproof. And so the guide kept telling us, don't bring your phone, don't bring your phone. And he's like, don't worry, it's waterproof, it's waterproof. Well, while he's on the kayak flips over, and and he's okay, and he gets out of the water and he gets back into the kayak, and no sooner than when we get back to the shore, his phone is not working. And he was so upset. He was like, but it said it was waterproof. It said it was waterproof.
No, it seems like he was a lot of fun. I saw this picture with him, his energy. I don't know if you remember this, but I see so much energy, so much fun here.
We had taken another road trip. We were in Virginia Beach, on the picture on the left, and we were all supposed to be getting ready for a wedding. And I think he was waiting his turn in the bathroom, and he just came outside because he was just waiting so long for the girls to get ready, and that's how he felt about waiting in line for the bathroom.
No. Yeah, so seems like you, as you two are, very active and participating in so many activities. It was something that he was always very active as well, with you guys and your mom as well.
Yeah, so this photo, that was so we had friends that were in when we lived in California, and they had two sons with autism, and so that's kind of what got us into fundraising and as a whole. And we had started a team with them, and had done a lot of fundraising for Autism Speaks. And when we had started that process, we had involved Bob and his wife Magali. And we even brought that out here to New York with us. And so that's kind of what we were doing before we got to know Igla da Silva. And, so these are some of those moments, when we were in California and doing some of the fundraising and some of the fun things that we would go and do while we were there.
Mm-hmm. No, as we can see on those pictures, it definitely illustrate what a special guy he was. And if you can share with us a little bit, how did he find about his diagnosis? What was his diagnosis? And
so he used to go, so he was the scout master. So he was the Boy Scout master of Troop 235 in Whitestone, Queens, and he was the scout master for more than 30 years. So every year he used to go to Boy Scout camp, and he loved going there. I think he would go for 1 to 2 weeks. So before you can go to Boy Scout camp, you have to get a blood test every year, and a physical, I believe. So he went July 2013. He went to get his physical, and his blood work came back where there was an issue with the blood work. So his doctor told him he was giving him the okay to go to Boy Scout camp, but because there was something wrong with his blood, as soon as he came back from camp, he wanted him to come back and get everything looked at. So he knew there was something wrong. He just didn't know what. And then after he was done with Boy Scout camp, he went back in August, and that's when he got the complete workup. And they told him that it was his blood. There was something wrong with his blood, and they told him he had myelodysplastic syndrome. And he had to keep getting, I believe, transfusions. I believe he had to keep getting transfusions. I'm not sure if it was every month or every 2 weeks. He had to keep going to get transfusions. And then when that wasn't working too well, that's when they told him he needed to get a bone marrow transplant. So we so now we were trying to figure out, all right, what can we do? We started looking into it. Right away, I put out a call. I told everyone in the family, all of our friends, I said we all needed to get tested. But his doctor told him he just wanted he has one brother. He just wanted his brother tested. So that's all they did. They only tested his brother. And so I believe, I don't know. So he found out in August, I believe, from August to February, he was just getting his transfusions and they wouldn't test any of us. I'm not sure why. So they wouldn't test anyone. They actually put him on an experimental drug. And then in March, I believe it was Facebook. In March, we actually happened to find Isla de Silva on Facebook. And I believe that's when we saw the Matchmaker for 2014. So we contacted, I think we contacted Isla de Silva. We said that we wanted to register the team. And then we were going to do a marrow drive, but we literally registered the team on March 14th. And we were going to run, we were going to raise money, we were going to do a marrow drive. But then my dad passed away the next day. They had found a match for him, but he was too weak because he had gotten sick. So they couldn't do anything. So even though he passed away, we literally had just registered. So we said, all right, we're still going to stay. We're still going to raise money. We're going to run in his honor. And then we've been here ever since. But we also registered with Isla de Silva to be, Mike and I and my brother, we registered to be donors right away. And then after my dad passed away, then we started asking everyone else to start registering to be donors.
Now, thank you for sharing that with us, Melissa. And I'm sorry about your dad. And as we know, there are over, thousands of patients every year that relies on a bone marrow transplant. And some of them, unfortunately, they do not find a match in the registry and they rely on, or do not find a match in the family and rely on the bone marrow registry. So I wanted to say that you two have been so amazing in advocating to adding more donors to the registry, in memory of your dad. And I'm sure he's very proud of everything that you guys have done and for those that have registered. And I even wonder nowadays how many lives have been saved from donors that you help us add to the registry. And I just want to say that, you guys have been amazing in advocating for the cause, and especially to add more donors to the registry. So I just want to share everyone here some of the pictures that from the campaigns that the Matchmaker 5K that Mike and Melissa, not only they have participated, but also they have been the top team since then. Here's the first one that they both raised over $10,000 together. Some fun pictures of both of them, with a picture here with Bob. And I know that, now tell me a little bit about the name of your team and why.
Yeah, so Bob had a really big mustache. So he had a handlebar mustache, and he was kind of really well known for that. So that was one of the big reasons why we chose to call our team Bob's Mustaches. And it was another way to honor him, to kind of bring his memory forward and kind of just have a little bit of fun and some lightness to an otherwise kind of depressing thing in a sense. So we were trying to bring a little bit of levity and some happiness and honor the happy memories. And so his mustache was always the center point of a lot of conversations. Everyone would stop him and talk to him about his mustache. And, so it became something kind of, what he was known for. So that was one of the main reasons why we decided to call our team Bob's Mustaches. So, of course, on every year we would have a team T-shirt and we would put little mustaches on there. We made little buttons and had a mustache and all that kind of stuff. So it was a lot of fun, and we got a a great way to kind of get our team name out there and get a little bit of notoriety within Ecla de Silva, because everybody would, come to us and be like, oh, so you guys are Bob's Mustaches, So yeah, it was kind of fun. It was a good way to bring some awareness and a little bit of, it was a great way to break the ice too, especially when you're talking to other people and kind of just letting them know, what we're doing and what we're all about. And it's like, oh, that's a great T-shirt. And you're like, yeah, well, this is why. And so that was a really fun way of doing that.
Mm-hmm. No, and then since then, we have not been able to have another top fundraiser, because between you and Melissa has been the top fundraiser for our Matchmaker 5K year after year. And as we can look through the pictures over here, we can definitely see, all the recognitions that you have received together with others as well throughout the years with your friends. And it is definitely a really fun event that we host every year. Unfortunately, of course, this year we had to have this event as a virtual event, not as a live event. And we do encourage everyone to please attend and participate on the virtual Matchmaker 5K. I have the link here on the screen, ecla5k.org. It is a very easy website to navigate. You can either join a team, you can form your own team, or you can just make a contribution. And we are sharing, how everyone is participating, that by running, walking, or even just advocating about the need for more marrow donors in the registry. And if for some reason you cannot participate or wish to participate in such an event, everyone can always make a financial donation to the foundation as well, by sending a text message with the word ECLA to 71777 to make a donation, so we can continue our efforts in adding donors to the registry as well. And I know that we keep getting questions every year. What does Mike and Melissa do to do so well with their fundraising? Because it's so difficult to fundraise. And I want to take this opportunity here to ask you, can you give us some tips on, after you register and you form your team, some of the things that you did to be able to invite your friends and get donations? Because raising over $10,000, now over $25,000 through the few years of campaigns that we have participating is just amazing, and it's making such a big impact in the organization. So I would love to hear some tips from you about, what does it really take to participate and be so successful in the fundraising?
Well, to start with, I'm really competitive. But seriously, well, yes. But we come up with events. So I feel like the first year, while sadly it was the easiest because my dad had just passed away, when someone first passes away, everybody rallies around you and they want to make a donation. That's what makes it easiest the first year, but then it does get harder. People want to, while a lot of people do like just donating, we had some people that they love to see that we volunteer. They love to see that we're putting in the effort. And so they would give us money. There are other people who they like to see that they're getting something for their donation. So that's why we had to come up with different ways each year. So our biggest, sometimes we would have, we would go to a bar. So we would find a local bar owner who, there are some bar owners in the area who they're very philanthropic, and they would do, they will allow us to host in their bar, and they would do a deal where a portion of the proceeds would go to them and a portion of the proceeds would come to us from what they're making that night. And then they would also let us set up in their bar. We could bring in food, and then we would bring in all of the items that we were raffling off. All of those raffle items, we would just go to every single local business, whether it's a restaurant or someone that has a service, and we would just take a chance. You have to, some of them may say no, but you don't know unless you ask. We go to every single person and it's a 50-50. Some of them say yes, some say no, but in the end, we would have so many items that we have for giveaways. So a lot of the times we would do the bar event. If we didn't do the bar event, we always would have an art benefit. And sometimes we would have that in a friend's home. The past few years, we would have it in our own home, where Mike's an artist, so he would donate some of his own work. We have other friends who are artists, and they always donate some of their work. And then we would raffle those off. And we would do the same thing. We would go to local businesses. We would ask them to donate food, donate beverages. And then we would have people come into our home they could do a donation at the door, where for a donation at the door, you get a raffle, you're entered into a raffle prize. So right away they know, hey, I'm donating, but I also stand a chance to win a prize. Then they also, in addition to bidding on art, which they're giving money, but they're also getting something, they also have free food and free beverage included. Then we also, at the events, we have little games going on the entire night, so they also can get extra prizes. And then we try to get everything donated. The entire every event that we have, we try to get 100% of everything donated. But that's what people like. They like to see that they're getting something for their donation.
Right.
And that was always the most successful.
Yeah, and another thing that we would do as well is, we would pick a major sporting event, and we would kind of make like almost like a betting kind of game out of that, where very often you would see people would already have office pools, office things going on for these sporting events, and we would try to kind of put something on there. And normally a person who would not necessarily want to enter those types of pools realize that, okay, this is for charity. There is some sort of way that, okay, there's a little bit of luck and fun involved, that I can be, participating in this sporting event. But at the same time, I know that if I don't win, a portion of those proceeds were going to a good cause, something, that they could get behind, and not just throwing money away at a sporting event. So that was kind of another fun way to, generate a lot of revenue. It was very simple. You just kind of used the same template that a lot of other office pools and fun home pools would go ahead and do. And then we were just able to say that, a portion of our proceeds were going to benefit Igla de Silva. And, it was, fairly simple, so that was not a very complicated way to raise funds.
Mhm.
So for instance, we would do a $20 pool, and we would put 50% towards the proceeds of the actual pool itself. And then the other 50% went straight to Igla de Silva. So, we would have 100 participants, and it was an easy way to generate $2,000, and $1,000 went towards the prizes for 4 winners. And, the rest of it went towards Igla de Silva. So that was a very fast way. Within like 1 to 2 weeks, you could have $1,000 easily, for your, for Igla de Silva, for the foundation and for the team. So that was a great way to do it, and it wasn't really difficult at all. Some of the other things that we would try to do,
we would talk to our friends. So we know a lot of our friends know, they even though we may not know people in the community, they would know people in the community. So we would say to them, can we use your name to get a donation, or can you ask for the donation? So that would work. I mean, we had gone to one restaurant where we had asked for a donation, and the guy said, well, I don't know this year. So we used our friend's name, and he said, oh, so-and-so, you know what? Then I'm going to make an exception. And for her, I'm going to do it for you guys. So do that. Talk to your friends and see if they can help you out. Sometimes friends, even though they may not be able to give you a donation, because look, sometimes money is tight, they can help you by getting donations for you. So just by going out and getting things for you, they may not be able to give you money, but they can get a donation for you.
Right. Another useful tool that we had was we generated a letter. So we kind of, Iram, we worked with you and some of your other staff, and had generated a letter that helped prove what we were asking for. You didn't necessarily want to be the random person that just walks into a restaurant or a store and asks for a donation, because there's nothing legitimate about that. So we had to, provide some sort of letter or proof to them that said, we are, representing, our team, and we are going to be, looking for donations for the Isla de Silva Foundation. And, that letter kind of opened a lot of doors for us when it came to working with the commercial sector. Because
because if it has your name
yeah.
and your address, now they can reach out to someone at ICLA and say, is this legitimate? Do you know this person who's coming into my store? And you can say, yes, we do.
Yeah, and I remember, the event was always a lot of fun with great food, and you guys got some great items such as Southwest Airlines tickets,
Right.
overnight stays at different hotels, and it was a lot of fun. So yeah, no, definitely great ideas on ways to raise funds, and I do not only the event previous to the 5K that you guys organized, but also on the day of the event, it was always a lot of fun to have your team there participating with their T-shirts and all the activities that we have at the 5K. So yeah, I definitely encourage everyone to please participate, join, even through the virtual event. We are having on September 12th, we are having a celebration and award ceremony for those who have been the top fundraiser, the top team, the team with the highest members, and a few other prizes as well. And every Monday we are having some WebEx meeting to update everyone on who's the top fundraiser, some resources as well. And now we're going to be introducing some prizes for different levels. So if you have fundraised $100, you get we don't know the details yet, but we know by Monday you get a T-shirt. If you fundraise 250, you get a T-shirt and a cooler. So that is branded with the foundation. So we will definitely be announcing those on Monday. So I encourage everyone to participate on the 5K. If they have any questions, please reach out to us. If they prefer just to make a donation, very simple, just get your phone, send a text message with the word ICLA to 71777, and we will definitely be getting back to you to thank you for your donation. I want to go back to a picture here that I have from you guys that I want you to talk to us a little bit more about it. And it's this picture over here. So tell me more about this.
So my dad, while he was Scoutmaster, he had over 50 boys make the highest rank of Eagle Scout. Now, all of my dad's Boy Scouts, they adored my dad so much that they called him Uncle Bob. Every Boy Scout called him Uncle Bob. But some of the older boys felt that the younger boys had to earn the right to call him Uncle Bob. And a lot of his older boys that earned Eagle Scout we called them the old school crew. So one of his old school crew, his name was Brian Connolly. He approached us, I'd say maybe late 2014. He had gone to, the local city hall, and he wanted to get a street named after my dad. And he didn't care where it was, but he wanted a street named in Whitestone. So they told him they thought it would be really good if our own street was named after him. So they gave him the paperwork. They told him what needed to be done. So he approached us and he told us what he did. And he said, what we needed to do was we had to have, I think it was 80% of the people on our street needed to approve it. I think 100, we stopped at 90%. We didn't bother with the rest because once we had 90%, we figured that was good enough. So we got 90%, and then we gave it back to Brian, and then Brian took it back to City Hall, and it was unanimously voted immediately. So they approved it, and then it went, and then that was it. Right away, it was approved, and our street was named Robert C. Lonis Way. And so then this was the street naming ceremony, and this was June of 2015. So our street was named after my dad, and that was all because of one of his Eagle Scouts.
Yeah, I think the process took maybe just more, under 12 months or so to get from start to end. from the moment when some of the paperwork had been submitted to the point where they were actually putting the sign up on our street. And there was a few different, hurdles to pass through. There was a couple of approvals
but they
by
always
the
approved
town
it
and the city.
unanimously.
But yes, there was never really any kind of an issue. Any type of town hall meeting, we would have a whole group of people come in, all supporting this particular request, and it was kind of really touching to see the amount of people who were kind of supporting us.
Well,
and going
there
through
and
with
at
this.
the approval process for, I guess, the last stage at the White, I guess it was the town city hall, his entire Boy Scout troop was there, and they all came in uniform, so it was really nice.
Amazing way to keep his memory alive through all the service that he has provided to everyone, to the city, to the community, to the Boy Scouts. So I just want to make sure that I share that picture. I also want to share some of the other ways that you guys have been involved. Here, Mike and Melissa at our gala that we host every year, except this year we are going to have a virtual gala. And not only they attended and participated, but they also volunteer. As Mike being a chef, they always help us with the tasting and decorations and all the aspects of the gala. And the picture on the right is also at the Mix and Match event, an event that we bring patients and marrow donors and families together. So always very, you two are amazing and have been involved with us for in many different ways to support our patients. So I do encourage everyone to get involved with us, and especially with the example here through the 5K and gala and different events as well in terms of fundraising. And before I forget, I was just want to mention that the top prize for the top individual fundraiser is a round trip for two donated by JetBlue. So if you can join us for the 5K and help us fundraise, you might be the winner of that 2 round trip tickets for 2. And I have to ask, can you share with us some of the places that you have gone, since it has been more than once that you guys won that prize?
So I wrote it down. Let me get my list. I wrote it down for you. The first year we won, we went to Bermuda. We went to visit my cousin. The second year we went to Turks and Caicos. Then the third year we went to Costa Rica, and we took a little side trip to Nicaragua. The fourth year we went to the Bahamas. The fifth year we went to Ecuador, and we took a side trip to the Galapagos Islands.
Oh, wow.
And then sadly this year,
well, yeah, COVID has put a little bit of a damper on our travels this year. But,
we did have it booked, but we had to reschedule. We were supposed to go to Peru and Easter Island.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. It makes me, so happy to hear that, you two being so altruistic, getting so involved in memory of your dad and raising the needed funds for the organization. And of course, with the support of JetBlue, that you also have the opportunity to take some time off to enjoy yourselves. So I do encourage everyone, and I will ask you if you can share with us now, what message do you want to share with everyone that is listening to us, watching this live, and in terms of ICLA, about the 5K, about getting involved with us?
So I think, like I said earlier, while I am competitive, and I think going on the trips, it makes it all fun, and you think you're doing this because, yes, I get to go on vacation and I'm raising money and it's competitive and it's great to see how much you're raising. The most important aspect and the whole reason we got involved to do all of this is to save lives. And I think what a lot of people don't realize is, so we do this, even if my dad hadn't gotten sick, we still raised money because we love to raise money to save lives. And I think what the hardest aspect is when we reach out to people and they say, oh, we don't want to donate, we don't want to give money because it hasn't affected them. And they don't they don't see how important it is until it does affect them. And that's when they want to reach out. I think people should get involved now. Don't wait until it affects you, because sometimes when it affects you, it's too late. So do something now. Donate, even if you can't donate, register, be on the registry, because you can save life by donating your marrow or donating blood.
Right.
Volunteer. You don't have to give money, but you can volunteer to help. Helping to save a life can sometimes be even better. But whatever you do, do something. Don't just sit back and say, well, it doesn't affect me. And I think that's what a lot of people fail to realize. Just by doing nothing, you're not helping. Do something, do anything.
Yeah,
Now,
and don't give up. It's you want to keep trying. A lot of times we saw rejections when we were doing our fundraising, or we would see rejections from support from friends and family who were either just tired of the year to year kind of routine that we were going through, and you just have to keep trying, because again, keep that focus, keep that goal in mind, that you are really here to save lives and to either make somebody else's life more meaningful, to get them through a difficult moment in their lives. And the more you try, the better the results are. And you may see rejections, it happens, but you know what, it's no reason to stop doing what you're doing. You just have to really push through and keep trying. And a lot of times it just takes perseverance and a willingness to continue.
now, thank you both for that message, and I'm sharing with everyone here some pictures of some of our patients. I'm happy to share that Alfred on the top right finally found his match and received his transplant after almost 8 years searching for a match. Um, and Bella here, right in the middle, also was able to find her match and receive her transplant, and she's doing very well. So there are some others who are still searching, like Isaiah, that many of you know, have attended
Yes.
so many of the 5Ks. He's still searching for a match. Although this is a picture, he was so little, but he has grown so much. But still suffering, still needing for a match. The same thing for Alfredo on the right bottom. So I do encourage everyone to please get involved. I want to share one more slide here in different way of how everyone can be involved, not can get involved,
Yeah.
either by joining the registry, by texting the word ICLA to 61474, and then after you complete the application, you'll receive a swab kit at home. You can always make a financial contribution by texting ICLA to 71777. Participate on our 5K that is coming up, but we need to start now, or volunteer with us through visiting our website. So I encourage everyone. This is a picture over here of Julian the day that he received his transplant. All of us can not even imagine how he felt and how his family felt on that special day. And so many patients are needed. We still need a transplant, and they depend on us. So I want to thank Mike and Melissa for everything that you have done, sharing your story, fundraising with us, being an advocate, invite others to join, and agreeing to participate on this live with us today. So I hope you enjoy, your time off, and hopefully we get to see each other very soon again.
Oh,
But I just
absolutely.
want to
Same
thank
to
you,
you, Iron.
and I appreciate all your time today, and I hopefully we will get more
Hopefully we'll
donors
see
to
you
register.
soon.
Yes, definitely. So thank you very much. Thank you, everyone. And I watch out for our next live that'll be coming up hopefully next week, and get involved. Thank you.
And donate.
And donate. Thank you.